Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craftably After and welcome to the 1st of November and another video. Now friends, as most of you would know, today is the kickoff of the hashtag Nautical November Cal that is being hosted by myself and two wonderful friends of mine here on YouTube, Lee from the channel Lee Mac and Pamela from the channel Ginger Cat Crochet. Now we came together and decided, of course, there's not nearly enough cals, crochet alongs going on at the moment. We are going to squeeze in another cal. I mean, why not? We all love being part of this community. We all like crocheting things together. We love themes. It is always just a fun time. So the Nautical November Cal, as it says in the name, all things ocean. So think pirates, think sea life, boats, anything that you will find that revolves around an ocean theme. Now, to make things even easier, we found this adorable poem so that in case there's not enough inspiration out there, this poem should give you one or two little inspiration ideas of what you can make for this theme. Now, if you've watched Pamela and Lee's recent videos announcing the cal, you would have heard this little poem before. They read it on their channels, but I thought I am going to include it in my first reveal video today. So if you've not heard the poem, this is the one that we are sort of loosely going to try and pick some ideas from here and there. Obviously, you don't have to do anything from this poem. The ocean theme is so large that there are literally thousands of adorable patterns out there that you can use to create something with a nautical or an ocean theme. But before I get carried away, let me read this super adorable children's poem because my projects for this week does come from the first part of this poem. And it goes like this. Pirate Pete. Pirate Pete had a ship on the sea, had a fish for his tea, had a peg for a knee, and a tiny little parrot called Polly. Pirate Pete had a book with a map, had a skull on his cap, had a cat on his lap, and another little parrot called Dolly. Pirate Pete had a patch on his eye, had a flag he would fly, had a plank way up high, and another little parrot called Molly. So Pirate Pete and the parrots four, they sailed the world from shore to shore, collecting gold and gifts galore. And that's their tale. There is no more. So such an adorable little poem. I had to use it for the kickoff of this cal. Now I'll show you my first project, which should come as no surprise because it's on the thumbnail of my video. But I decided to kick off this month with Pirate Pete. Now I sort of combined him with another element of the poem, which said he had a cat on his lap. In my case, I made Pirate Pete a cat. And it is this adorable, teeny tiny little pirate cat. As you can see, it's actually a bit difficult for me to hold. He's got a little peg leg. He's got his little pirate cap. He doesn't have a skull on it, but he's got a fishbone little, what do you call it? Like icon or applique on top of his little pirate hat. He was a super quick make. Let me show you the back. I made him using, of course, my favorite Rainbow Cotton 86, which is a sport weight or a yarn weight 2 with a 2.5mm hook. And this pattern is a free pattern from Little Crochet Farm. So she has got tons of free patterns. This little pirate cat comes from her most recent, she had this Halloween cat series that she brought out. So you can find her patterns free on her blog. Then she also has video tutorials, and I used a mixture of both because some of the steps I just did not quite understand what she was saying in the pattern, especially when it came to this little hat. Now my hat is actually a tiny bit small. I think by the time I made the hat, my tension was so tight that I really I really had to squeeze it onto his little head. It does come off, so it's not, his ears are not sewn onto his cap. His little cap can come off. And then she actually embroiders a little fish bone, I don't know what you call it, like a little fish skeleton onto his cap. I didn't feel like embroidering, so I tried to cut it from felt, which honestly I think was a much more tedious process than if I just embroidered a little fish skeleton. But I still love how it turned out. This was a super quick make, a really fun project. So she has got amazing patterns on her blog. There are Christmas themes, there's these Halloween themes. She's got adorable free patterns, so I highly recommend, because I really enjoyed whipping this one up. It did not take long at all. These little patterns are small. I think they're perfect for little kids. You know, it's a very nice little child hand size. Really loved making little Pirate Pete the cat. Now another element of the poem that I use for this week, in the first verse, they talk about him having a fish for his tea. Now I don't crochet a lot of fish. It's not really anything that specifically draw, you know, my attention, but this is why I jumped on and agreed to do this gal with my friends, because again, it just challenges me to think of different things. Now I know I've been on a little jellyfish kick lately, and that's because it was quick and easy to do. But I wanted to do something a little more technical, I want to say. You know, I don't always just want to whip out these quick morning, you know, do it in the morning projects. I thought for this month I'm going to include a few more technical, a few more time-consuming projects. Now my next project, although it was a little time consuming, was not that difficult, and I will show you, let me show you the project first. So I made, well, as I mentioned, a fish. So Pirate Pete had a fish for his tea. Now this fish is a little big for Pirate Pete. It's probably feeding his entire ship, because I made this gorgeous, I can't hold it, it's a very odd shape. I made this cute little, it's called, the pattern is called Joni the goldfish. I will show you where I worked from now, but I didn't get the correct yellow. You know, I don't just want to go out and buy yarn specifically. I'm trying to use what I've got at the moment, because I've got a ton of yarn I've got to get through. So this is a slightly brighter yellow than I had in mind, and I didn't quite have enough of this yellow here at the top that I use for the embroidery or the details. So this is what my little fish looks like. I really enjoyed making this. This did take me a minute to do, because it, you know, it's not difficult, but it is a lot of pieces and things that I've not done before. And I worked from this book. Now, this book, as well as the second one, will be featured more than once during this month. But I've had these aquatic Amigurumi books for absolute ages. And I thought with this theme, it's the perfect time to pull them from my library and finally challenge myself to do something I would not normally do. So I had Pirate Pete, of course, he had fish for his tea, and I decided to make this one. It's called Joni the goldfish. So this is the one in the book. Now she does show you what is nice, some different variations, and I chose this one, so you can see the little how I did the embroidery. It's based on that one. I didn't feel like making all those little French knots, and I did not make the little boat hat. Also, I didn't do the little cheeks. I almost never do these little cheeks that you crochet a circle and sew it on. It always looks like my toy has got a beard. So I have started just leaving that off if it occurs in any pattern. But I mean, look at those lips. It is just fantastic. The construction is amazing. The way she does this curve, it does take some concentration. And then this little jacket thingy, it is actually a loose piece that you put on afterwards, and then you sew the fins to it. But I had so much fun with this one. I'm really glad I decided on a fish for one of my first projects, as well as pirate beat. So as I say, this fish is feeding the entire crew, but it was, I just enjoyed it so much, and I think you will enjoy seeing the rest of the projects that I've got planned for November for this cal specifically. It was a lot of fun to do something that I do not usually do. Now, anyone who wants to, you are more than welcome to join in, either make something from the poem that I've read. I will also put a link for the poem down in my description box below. Many of you have got these books. As I say, they are a bit more technical. They are not beginner friendly books by any means, but with a bit of patience, you can do it. So if you've got this book and you've not made anything from it, I challenge you to give it a go. Of course, there are a million different free and paid for patterns out there, patterns that we find in books that covers all sorts of sea creatures. So you are more than welcome to join in. Send us your photos, I think towards the end of the month. All of us that received photos, we will do a little show and tell. Well, I'm planning to do a slideshow right at the end of November. So send your photos to me. I would love to include them in our #NauticalNovemberCal little slideshow. I know the other ladies would love to receive your photos as well. I will link their channels in my description box, but many of you are very familiar with Lee and Pamela. So I look forward to you joining in on this fun little cal that we have got going on. So let me know what you think of these two. I know, completely out of my comfort zone. There is not going to be a bear in sight this entire month. I know, first I make blankets, then I make no bears. The world is coming to an end, friends. No, I'm only kidding. It is so much fun to do something different than the usual. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing my projects. Before I forget, which should actually come as no surprise to you, I made this cute little goldfish with Rainbow Cotton 86 as well. So there you have a good comparison to how small this little cat actually is. They were both made with the exact same yarns, Rainbow Cotton 86 and a 2.5mm hook. Alright, you guys, that's it. I hope you are having a lovely Friday so far. I hope you've survived the week. We are at the weekend, friends. I hope you've got a really nice weekend planned. If it's just relaxing, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I hope you get some relaxing time in as well. And until I see you next week Friday for episode 2, or our second reveal video for #NauticalNovemberCal. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. As always, you guys, stay safe and stay crafty.